Good evening. Welcome to SEC basketball baseball reaction on a Saturday night. It's been a long day in the sun, gentlemen. Travel ball parent today, 12U tournament. So I was watching a lot more of that and a lot less SEC, at least till tonight. We've got every game in the books except for LSU and Tennessee. We're here to be playing. Oh, just another classic down in Baton Rouge. I went to bed last night, I think in the bottom of the eighth of that one, and woke them up and saw the score and thought, man, what in the world happened there? So I think most people have seen that. We will dive into all the games momentarily. Before we do that, reminder, help out the folks who help us. In this case, that's CHERIBUNDI. If you are working out, got great products for recovery. Drink their cherry juice, their cherry drink concentrate, their cherry juice concentrate, their cherry gummies. They are tremendous for reducing soreness, increasing recovery, and they are used by every NFL team. 10 of the last 11 Super Bowl champions, 66 of the 67 Power 4 conference football teams, and every NCAA football and basketball national champion since 2007. I've been using them too. Have been making me feel great. Also, when I go to sleep here in a little bit, we'll be using the melatonin gummies. Those are good too to give you your sleep. And again, anyway, help out the people who help us. Check out CHERIBUNDI.com. You can see that in the description and on the ticker. Use promo code SE20 for 20% off your entire order. Gentlemen, got a little drama in Baton Rouge as we're watching this, but I guess the headliner today would have been Texas winning another one-run game over Texas A&M. Alfred, you and I spent all last night talking about how the one victory Texas A&M had was maybe using up Dylan Volantis for tomorrow. Scratch that comment from the record. He comes in today. The Longhorns are just a juggernaut right now.
Yeah, very hard to stop. Very solid start from Luke Harrison. 6 innings, gave up only 4 hits, struck out 6. Thomas Burns was ice in this game. I was really impressed with the poise he had when he was in tight spots. He went 2 innings, gave up 1 earned run, and struck out 3. Despite forming traffic on the bases, he got out of it when he needed to, which was huge. The Aggies just seemed to, constantly try to threaten this Texas team throughout these 2 games, but it didn't faze them that much. And big hits from Ethan Mendoza, man. Popped up as the dude again for the Texas Longhorns. Huge stuff from him. Schussler, nice stuff again as well. So, yeah, Texas is rolling right now. Mendoza homered, by the way, a big one there to kind of tie that game up, and then had another double to sort of extend the lead later on. Texas, man, I don't know what else we can say. They're clearly the number 1 team in the country. They proved it. Texas rocks. You are right. It is over. The series belongs to the Longhorns. If you're Texas A&M, I saw we have Barton here. Try to salvage the 1 game. They absolutely can. They've been competitive in both of these. But, man, Texas has just proven how good they are in these tight spots without 2 of their best players. So, yeah, not a whole lot more I could say.
How about Jared Jones even posting during LSU Tennessee? Even he's impressed.
Yeah,
different Jared.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of that, I got that game on right now. But Bear Jones, that home plate umpire,
yeah,
he just hit a walk-off home run.
Yeah, he can do what he wants.
Let him celebrate.
I think that there must have been a little bit of chatter leading up to that, and then there was a little bit after the game too, apparently. By the way, Ariel Antigua and Jared Jones keep kind of having words throughout the night. He was on first base a minute ago. They're having a conversation. They had to stop the game briefly earlier for those two, which is kind of interesting. That's probably the smallest guy on either team versus the biggest guy on either team. Yeah, I mean, Luke Harrison today was terrific for them. Volantis needs 8 pitches to get 2 outs. A&M, I mean, this is the kind of game you wanted. Lampkin goes fairly deep into the game, gives up 1 earned run, Caden Wilson comes back, gives you decent relief, but Thomas Burns, we talked about how Hayden pitched a lot. He gives him 2 innings of 1-run ball today. I've just kind of run out of stuff to say about Texas, guys.
Well, to me, I guess my main takeaway is this says a lot about both of these teams. Let's do Texas first. Texas is legit, and they are extremely difficult to beat, especially at home. I know up to this point, it feels like every big series they have had, it's been in Austin. I saw that too. I thought that was
sorry.
Funny.
That was good. Oh man.
But Texas is legit, and then if you're A&M, this is not the A&M that we saw the first 2 months of the season. So they have definitely settled in, and this is a team that can play with anybody anywhere, it seems. So I kind of think the rest of the way for the Aggies, they are going to be, have a really good chance to win the majority of the games they got left the rest of the way. So I kind of think it says a lot about both teams. We know Texas is really good. They're playing really good baseball right now. The loss of Spencer didn't really phase them in the series this weekend. Now, what will that look like moving forward? We'll see. In Texas A&M, they've been one of the hottest teams in the country. I know they really wanted this one, but, nothing to really hang your head about. Nobody beats Texas in Austin. So I kind of think both teams should be feeling, good, especially the fan bases after this weekend. I know if you're the Aggies, it hurts a little bit more because you wanted this, but I kind of think both of these teams, got to be feeling confident after this weekend, moving forward the rest of the way. 3 weekends left.
Yeah, Lampkin's start is good enough to get you wins pretty much in a lot of other games other than tonight. Tonight, I think the story was there was a little bit left to be desired from their offense. You had Terrence Keel kind of carry the load. Beyond that, though, too many offers from that lineup. Bear Harrison offer, Caden Sorrell, offer, Wyatt Hensler offer. You can't have too many of those guys doing that. So that's really the main thing. And again, Texas A&M, I know it's your rival and you want to get this series win and get these wins, but at the same time, big picture stuff, this is pretty good performances. You just need a little bit more offense going forward, and they're going to find that.
And then the other thing, all these games you watch, I don't care which game you watch, they always show the SEC standings graphic. It really kind of hit me tonight. The Longhorns, they have a 4-game lead over everybody right now. So, that's down the stretch here. That's a pretty good separation, so their first season in the SEC, really almost in every sport, their first year in the SEC. Texas is really, a wonderful transition for them for the Big 12 to the SEC.
I have a question for you guys. Vanderbilt's 26-3 regular season back in 2013. That's kind of the standard bearer for SEC regular season marks. Texas sitting at 18-2. Here's what they've got coming up. Of course, tomorrow against A&M, 3 at Arkansas, 3 at home against Florida, and 3 at Oklahoma.
Yeah,
what do you think?
The Arkansas series, that's going to be their biggest test of the season up to this point, mainly because they're going to be away from Austin.
Yeah.
I think, without their schedule in front of me, I'm their biggest road challenge this season is, would you say it's Mississippi State
Kentucky.
or Kentucky? Which one we like?
Kentucky.
So that's Kentucky. So that's been their biggest challenge on the road up to this point. So I think Kentucky's good, but I think Arkansas is a notch above the Wildcats.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was looking at that too. Anytime you get a season like that, usually most teams get a scheduling break somewhere like that. So I don't really hold it against them. It is worth a note for context, but
boy, I'm watching this Tennessee. It's a miracle this game is as close as
Tennessee has had. Yeah. I was about to say Tennessee has had so many base runners. It's unbelievable. I don't know how it's only 3 runs they've scored.
Yeah, they had the bases loaded last inning. Only got 1 across. Bases loaded again right here.
Yeah, LSU's just done nothing offensively until the late innings in these 2 games.
It's incredible. That place got loud. Also, LSU fans, if you're in here, attendance record tonight at Alex Box Stadium. So congrats to that.
Wow.
It was loud when Milam and Braswell had their back-to-back homers. So good stuff there. And I think they kind of like it, sarcasm there, when Tennessee comes to town. So
well, I saw before the game they honored the 2000 national championship team. So they had the majority of that team came back for this series.
What do you think about bringing Chase Shores in this spot? I didn't see that one coming.
No, I didn't either. But I like it to build confidence, especially in a tight game like this. You're going to need him down the stretch if they're going to go far, whether it's starting or out of the bullpen. So I don't mind it as much.
I guess tomorrow was a TBA for them. He's their normal Sunday starter.
Mm-hmm.
Did Cowan pitch yesterday?
Yeah, he pitched for.
Okay.
I think.
See, I did. I had the Auburn State game, and if we were in the same boat as Tennessee LSU, we both had 3-hour weather delays.
We forgot to shout you out on that, by the way.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. We got off.
Great job.
I think I'd almost written that game off as a rain out, and we got off the show, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to watch Auburn," and then I remembered you were calling the game down there. You did a great job, by the way.
Well, thank you. It was borderline. Tennessee just got a run in.
Yep.
Honestly, I didn't think they were going to get that game in last night, just because they had the camera on Lamonis, Butch Thompson, and like the Auburn personnel, and they were having, let's just say, a spirited conversation, just going over all the game plans, or I guess the options. Like, do we want to play the doubleheader on Saturday or try to get this one in? And they settled on 9:15. That game finished around 12:30 last night, and like the Tennessee LSU was 1:00 in the morning, whatever it was.
I'm just not a big fan of that. I'm sorry. If you want to grow to the game, I don't think that's how you do it, among other things. But,
well, a big part of it is like what time you play the next day, because if you're playing at 1:00 the next day, like, would you rather finish past midnight, or would you rather play 18 innings in a day?
Well, and if you've got I guess too, you could say if you've got the threat of more weather later in the weekend, I get that too. But okay, this is interesting. LSU is coming here with Cooper Williams, who's thrown, I think, 11 innings this year. And been pretty good in them, but is also wild, and they've got the bases loaded. Must have a lefty up for Tennessee.
After Ensley is Sam
Bargo.
Yeah.
No, two lefties, Chapman and Bargo. There you go. Still.
Also, this I see it in the chat. I see it on social media. Like, we knew there would be tempers in the Texas A&M series. Like, what do you guys make of all that situation? I saw Slosh was asked about it after the game, like the incident and everything with Cash.
Yeah, well, I think usually, this is every sport ever when it comes to this kind of thing. It's the guy who retaliates. And although Gasparino was first, Cash retaliated and continued to do so. So he's going to be the one that gets it. You know what I mean? And I know that makes Michael Early mad, and it should. But that's how it goes. You know what I mean? That's not just Texas A&M. That's not just Texas. That's not just baseball. That's everything, everywhere, for every team and every player in every sport. So that's how it goes down. And yeah, that was going to happen at some point. So it just happened to him. Those two have history that I didn't know about when Cash was at Texas Tech too. So interesting stuff.
Well, it's fun, like, to watch the product on the field, and it's fun to watch all the action in the chat too. So we appreciate the Longhorns and Aggie fans in the chat.
Right. Yes, it is.
What happened exactly? That was when we were in the middle of games. I saw a mention of it on Twitter, but didn't circle back.
Well, it was clearly the parts I saw. I didn't see much of what Gasparino did, but it was a lot of Gavin Cash yelling at a lot of people. And so it kind of, much to the dismay of our Aggie faithful in the chat, that usually adds up to him being the one getting tossed.
Yeah,
Which
and he's suspended for
happens.
tomorrow.
Right. Yeah, I mean, which happens to a lot of teams and players. So, yeah, in the end, you needed a spark, and you kind of got it. I mean, they came within a run in the 9th inning, and we're about there. And they've been competitive and all this stuff. I mean, that's just going to happen in this kind of series.
All right, let's watch the finish of this inning, and then we'll circle back to earlier games. Yeah, I mean, this is just I think Williams is a freshman.
Yeah, he is.
And he's got like a 23% free pass rate. I think this is where having 4 guys who you can really trust and everybody else being hit and miss comes into play.
It is a small list, by the way, to have a fan base like that. What you saw in Baton Rouge, like you have over a 3-hour weather delay. You're playing at past 1 o'clock in the morning, and to have the atmosphere be that electric. I mean, they had over 5,500 people at 1 o'clock in the morning. I mean, that is a small list of schools in the league that can say that.
Yeah.
Maybe Arkansas.
There wouldn't be a lot that come to mind for me that would do that at all. And they're at the top of the list.
I think I see what LSU liked about Williams in this spot. Did you see that breaking pitch?
Yeah.
That is murder on lefties when that is located. I think Jay Johnson was talking about maybe going to him. Oh, you must be ahead of us.
Oh. Here it comes in order. Graham, me, Chris.
Oh.
Yep. It's perfect. We're like all lined up too. I mean, it's just
there have been some not so great defensive moments in this series.
No, it's this game's been odd. It's not typical Tennessee scoring. I mean, I've seen a hit by pitch get a run in. That if that goes down as an error, that gets a run in.
Man,
Fielder's choice play.
He tried to Ole that, man. You got to get in front of that.
Right.
Well, I mean the pitching. Oh goodness.
I know it took a weird hop late.
It did.
They gave it's a single. They gave him a single.
May have hit a pebble or something.
I'm kind of surprised they gave him a single.
Oh, really?
Well, just to help out the pitcher, Williams, his ERA.
What is
By
that
the way,
emoji?
I don't know. That's what I get for cheating off your paper, Graham.
Hey,
I'm going opposite of you. I am really paying for it
Who else
now.
picked the horns this weekend?
Yes.
The two guys on the far right of the screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Horns at home, never in doubt.
I give up. I'll just pick what I think next week.
I'll tell you, I still don't have a good feeling on Vandy. You know, I picked Ole Miss to win that series, but I can't figure Vandy out.
No,
Vanderbilt has won every other weekend. That's been the way it's been so far this year, and I do wonder. Sometimes exam week can be a little tricky for them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it was a bad matchup. I don't think that's why Ole Miss has boat raced them so far. I don't think it's just like exams or that.
Yeah.
But I think it was a bad matchup on the road against an Ole Miss team that probably was I'm not gonna say desperate, but that was a little bit of a shock to the system last week in Columbia.
Mm-hmm. The other one is Georgia. It's kind of hard to read Georgia too.
I think Georgia's a home and away.
Yeah, they are a big one.
Boy, this ball is absolutely hammered. Holy smokes.
Oh, here we go again. Ready?
What are we doing here, LSU?
Well, me
You
and
must be
my
way ahead of me.
big mouth about Tennessee not scoring like they normally do.
Well, Chris, you touched on it. That's a big spot for the freshman.
Well, and I get a couple of lefties, but why here?
Yeah, with a switch hitter in the
Yeah.
mix.
Manny Marin hit that thing 6 rows deep into the bleachers.
Yeah, he got all of it.
While we're on this game, I don't know if you guys agree. I would argue Marcus Phillips' best start, even with the 2 home runs late.
Yeah, I think so.
All things considered.
Well, his pitch count was incredible, and then LSU just got the 2 solo shots back to back there.
He did exactly what Liam Doyle did the night before, where it was like no hits through 4 or 5 or whatever, and then Milam eventually had it like a double to end that. But I'd go. I wonder what Tennessee fans will say in the comments. That is the most comfortable and best he's looked this year, and the fact that he did it at LSU is really encouraging. So no changes to him in the rotation. That's
Breaking news there from Sam.
That's
Pitching
big.
wise for the Vols.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
We need like one of those breaking news alert things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Sam's always got news.
By the way,
So
yeah,
what does LSU do tomorrow, by the way? Oh, you know what I would do?
What you
See
got?
if you can guess. I'd start Zach Cowan.
Well, how many did he go yesterday?
I don't think that many, Alfred, was it?
No, not too much. You could use him as an open, which is I'd imagine is what they do anyway, even if it's not him.
What, like 3 innings?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Try to make it through the lineup one time.
I mean, the guy threw, 115 innings last year at Wofford? Something like that?
He threw a lot.
Yeah.
He threw a ton.
But he hadn't done that this weekend.
No,
Or-
but
or-
the point
or
is
this-
durability is part of his makeup.
We are, by the way, we're getting to the point in the season where these coaching staffs, they are letting guys go a little bit longer.
Yeah,
I noticed that tonight. Like we've had more guys. This feels like a throwback to the 10 years ago. It's the
Yeah.
weirdest thing.
Well, the guy I was working with last night, Mark Fuller, who's great, by the way, played at Auburn, longtime pitching coach in the SEC. He said, really, when you get to this point in the season, like when the weather gets cool, that's a big factor. Just the weather aspect of it. And then also like you're just kind of gearing up for postseason play. So this is kind of the point in the season where you see that. Like we saw it in the Ole Miss game tonight. That was a career-long outing for Riley Maddox. It was the longest outing by an Ole Miss pitcher this season.
Yeah. Nick wants to know our thoughts on Volantis for pitcher of the year. I think he's your closer of the year probably because he does 2 things. He ends games and he goes, good distances. But I think right now that's Liam Doyle's to lose, guys.
Agreed. The only thing I'd say about the closer of the year, if it's not Volantis, you're looking at Osmer for Alabama. Like those are literally the only 2 guys in the conversation for closer of the year.
Yeah, but I would take Volantis to Osmer without hesitation.
Yeah, oh yeah, I would too. But like if you're looking at saves, there's a runaway in that category right now.
LSU's just gone to Grant Fontenot, who I forgot was even on the roster.
That was really quick too. Did I freeze on you guys, by the way?
You did a little bit.
All right.
I couldn't see it. Like you're behind the mic though, so I couldn't tell if you were talking or if you were frozen.
Right, let's hope that doesn't continue because I got really nervous for a sec.
Yeah, we don't need you to get that Chris internet.
No.
Hey, I got this fixed finally. AT&T was at my house 4 hours on Friday.
Well, so what's the report? Did they fix it?
Well, I've now got direct Ethernet, but they moved some stuff around, which was my problem. My office is in a far corner of the house, and the router is about as far away from it as you can get, even though I have extenders. So
Yeah.
I think they
Hey.
figured it out.
Standing ovation. Everybody in the chat, give him a standing ovation.
That'll come as a relief to many. Let's see. Where do we want to go? Probably let's do Arkansas, because I think that was a nice bounce back for the game for them. They got to Aiden King. They got enough out of Gage Wood. Gackle was good again. I mean, they got Wood and Gackle. You wanted to see them throw well, and they did.
Mm-hmm.
Florida's been playing really well. Big win, I think, for Arkansas today.
Huge. They struck out a lot less than they did yesterday. That was something Van Horn touched on post-game, which is really good for them to get back into their groove on offense. Love the Gage Wood, Gabe Gackle combo that they had today. I wonder if we'll see that again, if they'll continue that. That could be really good on a Saturday or a middle game in a series. That was very huge. Kohio Aloy, Brent Iredale on offense, two usual culprits. Cam Kojal, guys, is a monster hitting the baseball over a fence. He did that again in this game. Big bounce back for Arkansas. It looked way more refined on offense than they did yesterday when they were striking out a lot, and the pitching was fabulous. Hog fans, got to love what you saw from Gage Wood. That's the main thing. And I think Gabe Gackle might have found a spot for himself.
Is this the first time they've done that, Wood and Gackle piggybacking like that? Or did they do it
so
before?
because Wood just hadn't pitched that many times.
Yeah. Okay.
If they did it before, it wasn't as effective as it was today.
Yeah.
That I will say.
It was the second weekend of the season when Wood went down, but boy, this was a big win for Arkansas. You know, game one obviously didn't go their way, but they really, really needed this one, and they just made the most of their opportunity. You know, they got to the freshman Aiden King, and you know, just kind of made the most of their opportunities. Like, I'm looking at their numbers here. 4 hits with runners on base. It could have been worse, though. They had 22 opportunities at the plate with runners on. So they went just 3 for 12 with runners in scoring position. Gators went 0 for 3 in that spot. So that was kind of the difference in this one. You know, Arkansas just made the most of their opportunities, and this was a big one. And that game 3 is shaping up to be quite large in this series.
Yeah. Too many errors by Florida today as well. Aiden King gave up 1 earned run, and there were 5 unearned runs that happened with him on the mound. So that comes down to just errors, and that hurt them. And it's going to hurt you when you play Arkansas, because that gives their offense much more confidence again. So, yeah, Florida, you got to clean that up heading into tomorrow. It's pretty obvious. I'm sure Kevin O'Sullivan will harp on that. And you're right, Graham. It has the makings of a pretty good game 3, just because of, you know, 2 kind of opposite looking games we had earlier. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously for Florida, they're still trying to secure a spot in the NCAA tournament. And Arkansas, like, if they drop game 3 tomorrow, they're kind of trending in a downward direction. So that, like, they really, really need this one. I still think the Hogs are going to host and be a national seed and all that, but they haven't really been playing up to their talent level. But this was a big one for Arkansas tonight.
Yes.
Big one for Ole Miss too. I think that had to be Riley Maddox's best start of the year. He just kind of shut down career. Yeah, that too. He just shut down Vandy. I think a lot of weak contact. He's not really an overpowering guy. Vanderbilt's only run, they stole home. That was it. And then Ole Miss played bombs away again. And it's looked really good this weekend.
Chris, I want to ask you this before I forget. I love watching Austin play. Like, he's electric, especially when he gets on base. Like, how does he compare to Kemp?
Kemp was better.
Well, I mean,
Kemp was a better, more refined hitter. Well, and Austin's playing hurt right now. He's got a shoulder injury. And I think LSU just hit a home run. he's not hitting well in conference play. Kemp was fun to watch, man.
Yeah, he was.
I
got to
think
watch
I
him
told
in
you
the minors.
he lived in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You texted us that picture one day.
Yeah, I
were you
ran
hanging
into
out
him
with Tony
walking
Hill?
in the neighborhood one day. I looked
Yeah.
over. There's a major leaguer.
But yeah, this was a big weekend for both of these teams. You know, if Vandy would have won this series, they probably would have wrapped up national seed potentially.
Yeah.
I think Ole Miss was just the more desperate team. Like Ole Miss really, really needed this one, especially after dropping the South Carolina series last weekend. The pitching outstanding tonight. Riley Maddox matches his career high 7 innings. He's a sinker ball pitcher, Chris, which is why, like, you know, he doesn't really rack up a lot of strikeouts. He had 5 tonight. Big thing for him. He didn't walk anybody. After the game, he just kind of said the game plan was against this Vandy offense. You just kind of have to go right at the hitters, like you have to attack them and be aggressive. And that was his game plan, and it worked. It would have been huge if Ole Miss wouldn't have to use Spencer, like Jones, you know, try to go with shut the door in 2 innings and went an inning and 2/3, and then Vandy, you know, kind of started to get guys on base with 2 outs in the ninth, and then Ole Miss had to go with Spencer late. Mike did say after the game that it shouldn't impact Spencer. He's going to be available for game 3 tomorrow, but you know, it's still, you know, you got to wonder how fresh he's going to be since he had to go warm up, get hot, and then go out there. He only threw 4 pitches, but still, this is a big weekend for Ryan Moorman. He'd really been struggling in SEC play offensively, and this was really one of his better weekends. Like, I think defensively he's made some good plays in this series, but he also had some big hits. Like he hit a home run. It's his first home run in over a month. So, you know, he's kind of been a big factor for Ole Miss, especially today. He had the 2 hits. He got moved down to the 9 spot. So he just seems, or the 8 spot rather, he just seems more comfortable there. But this is a big series for Ole Miss. This is one the Rebels really, really needed. And you know, this is a nice feather in the cap.
Austin Foley's been the man too. Another big hit today to extend the lead. So I've been super impressed with him. I mean, he's been on a roll seemingly since like April started or close to that. So
I get
keep it going, Mr. Foley.
He played like 18 games total at Kentucky. Like, he just didn't play a lot. And Ole Miss just brings him in mainly because they need depth at the catcher position. And he's kind of taken over that spot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if anybody said they saw this coming, they're lying.
Is Judd Utermark the biggest second baseman in the history of baseball?
Well, he's got more meat on the bone than like DJ LeMahieu.
I know.
DJ's like a number 2 pencil out there. I mean, you know?
Well, you'll have some rangy guys, but I mean, he looks like he's a first baseman on a slow pitch softball team.
He is a tank, and it's relatively new. Like, he hadn't been an everyday second baseman since he set foot in Oxford.
Yeah, that's big for Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss is in, you know, pretty good shape to host right now. We'll see what the RPI does in terms of a national seed, and they've got
it's jumped up big time.
Okay, let me see what it is tonight.
You know, they had the miserable week last week, losing to Little Rock and then South Carolina. RPI went to like 22 or 21, something like that.
Yeah. But I mean, theirs was, you know, I think there were just like tiny decimal spots separating them from the teams in front of them because, you know, win one game and you only move down a few spots. Yeah, there's 16. I would have thought they'd have moved up more than that.
We just got called out in the chat. So, Matt, to answer your question, man, if I could, I'd do it. But I guess Alfred is more of a man than we are.
Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. It just takes time. Plus, this needs to be trimmed. It's getting a little ugly around my lip. So, But
I will
yeah,
say, having seen it in person over the weekend, Noah Sullivan, best mustache in the
Oh
SEC.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not close.
oh
Matt,
yeah.
I don't think you want to see that from me, honestly. I don't think anybody needs to see that from me. I've only done facial hair like once for an extended period of time. I did it in my 20s for like a winter.
Soul patch, what'd you go with?
No, I did the whole thing. And somebody,
Fu Manchu?
when somebody called me Satan one day, I was like, all right, it might be time to
Oh,
You got to
let
mix
that
it
go.
up.
Yeah.
Matt, they have wives, so that's I think maybe a little bit of a factor too.
That and I'm on camera, so like if you really think about it, any sports broadcaster, news person, there's not a lot of facial hair
Yeah.
out there.
Mm-mm,
I mean,
not really.
like the only one I can think of is Wolf Blitzer. You know, he's got
Yeah.
the beard. Like he's the only one.
Yeah. It was not patchy. The thing I just didn't like the itching, among other things.
I do know, like once you get past that phase, like you're in the clear. You just
Yeah.
got to survive it.
Let's see, who else have we got? We've done Ole Miss.
Matt asked-
Go ahead.
Matt asked about Kentucky, so maybe we should do his for that.
Hey, yeah,
night
let's do
comment.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
We haven't had Matt in here. Matt was in here for basketball, not baseball so much. But hey, I mean, Matt, you should have been here last week. We talked a lot about you guys with that series win in Knoxville. I mean, they split with South Carolina today. I didn't see any of it, but
I didn't need that doubleheader threw me off. Like
yeah.
that was a late scratch yesterday too. Like they canceled game one like pretty late and decided to go with a doubleheader.
Mhm.
I guess the big thing was seeing Nate Harris go that long. He's been more of an opener than a starter in my mind. And you got your best guy going tomorrow, does Kentucky and Cleaver. So, yeah, I mean, they split. Stone for Carolina was good again today.
Mhm.
What was his final line?
7. Well, I mean, it wasn't great, I guess. 7 innings, 5 runs, 4 earned, but giving him 7 again. It's
a big
this
deal.
has been a long start weekend, I guess. But
Yeah. I don't like he's good for what he does, you know, sinker ball pitcher. Like if you get somebody out there that eats innings, you know, you'll take that.
yeah, I don't know what happened to them in game 2 today.
When I look at it, South Carolina it kind of flipped a little bit in their favor. It came down to them just having a big 8th inning, and Kentucky couldn't do anything late in that game. That was Will Tippett's home run. That was massive at the end of that game. Nathan Hall is great for them offensively in that second game as well. So my takeaway from that, you had, I think they got to Nick McKay really well. South Carolina did. They hit on him a good bit. 7 hits is what he gave up. Jake McCoy beat him out for length, 4 2/3. Struck out 7 batters. Ashton Crowther earned the win, going 2 2/3 and striking out 4. So, yeah, kind of a back and forth day. Really, that first game was Kentucky was great late after that game was close. And then the second game of the doubleheader, it kind of flips, right? South Carolina, had a big moment late. Kentucky couldn't really do anything late in that game. Also, just like that Florida-Arkansas series, makes for an interesting game 3. Yes, Matt, Kentucky won the first, and then South Carolina won the second. So best of luck tomorrow. Got to win the series.
Are you guys watching LSU right now, by the way?
Yeah, I am.
We're gonna have a fight before this thing's over.
They keep showing the dugouts. Matt, you don't have SEC Network Plus. How do you function? How do you function? If South Carolina is able to win game 3 of that series, like, does that change your opinion of them? Because that would be 2 series wins in a row.
I'm gonna check their schedule. I thought it was hard.
Their RPI is like in decent shape.
Their schedule after this.
I know it's brutal.
Yeah, Florida at home, at Auburn, and then LSU at home, the Paul Maneri reunion.
Yeesh.
They have 2 midweeks in that against Winthrop and then Charleston Southern, which is next week.
And they still don't have a loss in quad 3, 4, or 5.
Mm-mm. No, I remember watching them play at Winthrop. before, and they did pretty well. That's a weird. The Carolina people know that that's a pretty weird place to go for the big teams.
I've done games there. They got the biggest batter's eye of any stadium I've been to in my life.
They do.
It's enormous. It's like a skyscraper out there.
Right.
Yeah, I would like to see South Carolina have a do-over with Jerson back.
I would too.
I don't know that it's a regional team, but it's got, maybe a couple more SEC wins at this
They're
point.
a tournament team with that. I mean,
maybe.
Well, they were just kind of snake bitten, earlier in the season. Like they battled injuries. They had freak injuries. Like anytime when your starter gets hit in the head in BP, like shagging fly balls in the outfield, like that's when things aren't going your way. I just kind of think they have found their identity here lately. And like, again, they're not awful. They're not really elite in anything, but they show up to the ballpark and they make you earn it.
Yeah.
Carolina is South Carolina TBA tomorrow?
They are. I don't have it in front of me. If you do, Chris, I would guess SQ. If not, it's probably TBA.
Let me see. Yeah,
TBA.
Cleaver for Kentucky, obviously.
I'd be kind of surprised if it wasn't SQ, though, wouldn't you?
That I would say so.
Who's left?
It'd be
Becker.
him. I think. Let me check the first game. They can't do. I don't think they can do Crowther again. They'd go. Pitzer pitch 16. They could possibly go back to him. They haven't used Becker either. So a lot of Becker, a lot of SQ would be my guess. SQ. Cleaver. Yeah, SQ Cleaver would be a good pitching matchup if that's the case. I'd tune into that.
Kentucky has got, after this, at Mississippi State, Oklahoma, at Vandy. Manageable.
Very manageable. I think so too.
I mean, not easy, but
Vandy's the last one.
That's funny. You've got, because I think Oklahoma, Vandy, and Kentucky are kind of the same class of teams.
Right.
Agreed.
And they're playing each other a bunch down the stretch.
They so is that Vandy series in Nashville, I wonder?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. Stream East, Matt. Thank me later if you never heard of it. So here we go. If LSU does this 2 nights in a row where they score 6 runs in the bottom of the ninth, it'd be something else.
LSU backpicking to second in a 6-run game. That might have been if it is Antigua. Whoops.
Who else? A game we haven't talked about yet. Mississippi State. Like, this was a big bounce back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And the bullpen nearly blew it again.
they did.
Yeah.
State jumped on them early, 4 in the first, and then it just kind of like Auburn didn't really get momentum until late. They scored in the 6th, 7th, and 8th, and by that point it was just kind of too late. But here lately for Mississippi State, like the offense hasn't been the issue. 5 of the last 6 games they've scored 7 runs or more. The only exception was the game last night because they had to go against Samuel Dutton. But like this is a big win for Mississippi State. Between those two universities, like so many ties between State and Auburn. Like you go down on the field and like you see Ron Polk and there's John Cohen and there's all these people with ties to the program. So It was fun to visit with a lot of those guys yesterday, and visit with Coach Polk and all this stuff, and John Cohen and his wife. So it's cool to see the connections. Butch Thompson from Mississippi's almost a decade on staff at Mississippi State. So it's a lot of cool history. And also, guess who was at the game last night? Frank Thomas was there.
I saw that.
Oh, wow.
Yes, he is. Like, I get why they call him the Big Herd.
Yeah. You could probably eat me.
One of two Hall of Famers from the SEC.
In baseball?
Baseball, just two.
I'm trying to think who the other one would be. Position player, pitcher.
Period.
But is it a pitcher or position player?
Oh, sorry, position player.
Position player. Who in the world would it be?
Very recent.
Very recent.
Todd Helton.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Duh.
You helped me there.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if you could put someone like Palmeiro in, right? I mean,
well,
no.
If he wouldn't have pointed his finger at Congress.
Yeah.
Right. That was not his smartest move. Did you ever? I'm sure you guys have seen it. The thunder and lightning thing that ESPN's shown.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Great.
Like that meeting between him and Will Clark was awkward at the reunion.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
It was like, all right, we've got to do this because the cameras are on. Yeah. I think that Palmeiro would have. I think they would have rather been shaking hands with a porcupine than each other.
Yeah. I think we'd get some added to that soon with who's in the league now. I think there's a chance of it. I wouldn't see why Alex Bregman wouldn't be one. I'd have to look at everything he's done.
I think he's going to be in the Hall of Very Good. Plus he's
like he's got
Astros.
He's got plenty of time. Like he's not that old.
Yeah.
31, 32.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Trying to think who else in the SEC Hall of Fame.
By the way, go ahead.
I was gonna say all those Vandy pitchers. Like, what did you say? David Price had the best career out of all of them.
Yeah, and he's a Hall of Very Good guy. If he could have stayed healthier, maybe. I'm looking up career wins. Oh, there's an SEC guy in the top 10. See if you guys can guess it.
In career wins pitching in Major League Baseball?
Actually, there's two SEC guys.
Are you counting Roger Clemens now?
No, active. It's active. I'm looking at Baseball Reference career wins leaders.
Scherzer.
Yeah. He wasn't in the SEC at the time, but Missouri.
And then
it's got to be somebody for Vandy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland, Cy Young.
Nope.
Jeez, what's his name? Who am I thinking of?
Sonny Gray.
Okay, Sonny Gray.
Oh, yeah.
Your top 10, and there's more college arms in here than I would have guessed. Justin Verlander's 1. He went to Old Dominion. Scherzer's 2, Missouri. Kershaw's 3. Went to high school out of Texas. Garrett Cole, 4. UCLA. Chris Sale is 5th. He went to Florida Gulf Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Morton, I think went out of high school. I don't think he went to college. Sonny Gray, Vandy. Carlos Carrasco, I think was foreign signee. And Kyle Gibson is tied with him. I don't know where Kyle Gibson went to college or if he did, and then Yu Darvish.
He is top 10, Kyle Gibson.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't have thought it either.
No.
That's not the Mizzou Kyle Gibson, is it?
No, this guy. Oh yeah, no, holy smokes, good call. That's 2 Missouri pitchers in the top 10.
Wow.
Yeah. I looked it up. I did not remember him going to Missouri.
Yeah, and then they had Aaron Crow, like all
Yep.
first round picks.
Who was
Huh.
probably better than Scherzer in college.
Well, yeah.
And Missouri's got another big league pitcher in right now.
Yeah, that's who Carrick was talking about.
Guy for the Red Sox, Tanner Houck.
Yep. Carrick recruited him.
So I guess Missouri's got more wins among active pitchers in the majors right now than anybody.
Just like we all thought.
Just like we all thought.
Anticipated that.
All right, let's have a Missouri conversation.
Boy, when you see that 0-21, it's like this is very real.
Very disheartening.
So I looked it up. I was having some fun. Like, what would SEC standings look like if you took Missouri out of it? Texas would be on top still, even without the 3 wins.
Ole Miss wouldn't have 3 wins.
No, but still being decent. Florida's a team that would really be in trouble. Florida has 4 wins outside Missouri. But I then looked at it, it's like the teams that Missouri has played in the league have gone 66-55 when they're not playing Missouri.
Jeez.
It's very weird to think after even tonight's game that Alabama was on the brink of losing for a little bit. The first game in this series, as odd as that sounds, that's not very nice, Matt. It's not very
They
nice
would
at all.
absolutely would notice because wins are hard to. I hate to dog on Missouri. I don't take
No.
any joy in it. But
Mm-mm.
and Missouri gets to finish Georgia and Columbia at A&M, and then a desperate Mississippi State team.
Oh,
Where's
Oh.
that? Does that start Vegas?
Yeah.
wow. So
No. I'm sorry. That's Columbia. 2 of the last 3
Okay.
are in
Not
Columbia.
that it really matters, but
no. But I was about to say College Station and Starkville to end it would be awful. Oh my Lord.
Yeah. The teams that miss Missouri are
Tennessee.
Auburn, Kentucky, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Vanderbilt.
And every single one of them could use it.
Yes. I guess my thoughts tonight, though, if we flip it for a sec, Alabama got right a little bit on offense. You know, that was probably going to happen with who they were playing. But, I mean, you start the game with 3 home runs as you're scoring from Will Hodo, Jason Torres, and Bryce Fowler. That's going to be big, and that happened tonight. Huge. Zane Adams went the entire length of the game, which was 7 innings. In his 7 innings, he pitched 86 pitches, gave up just 5 hits, struck out 5. So not necessarily dominant, but was in control a lot, forcing a lot of flyouts and whatnot. Walked only 1 guy too. So great stuff from Zane Adams. Alabama got right a little bit. They if there was any team that kind of needed a Missouri series, it was them. So yeah, good stuff from Rob Vaughn and company.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of what I've been saying for Alabama. Like this is kind of your bounce back, get right weekend, and you know their offense really clicked tonight. 15 hits, 12 runs. So this is exactly what the doctor ordered for the Tide. I'm looking at Josh's comment. I'm trying to see if he's right on softball for Mizzou. He said Mizzou is the worst in baseball and softball. I know they were ranked in softball like middle point of the season. But if that's true, yikes. I'm trying to pull it up.
By the way, Tennessee has just jumped, what was Tennessee, 12 or 13 in the RPI? Before tonight, it's jumped into 9. So I think Tennessee would be a national seed. I mean, I think it was anyway.
Well, yeah.
But like if you ended the season tonight, Tennessee's RPI is now in range, and it's 12-3 in quad 1. By the way, your top 12 RPI right now in this order: Texas, Georgia, Arkansas, Vanderbilt, Auburn, Florida State, Clemson, North Carolina, Tennessee, Oregon State at 10, LSU and Alabama 11 and 12.
So that's
Ole Miss 16.
6 out of 10 or SEC. I was counting as you went.
5 out of 9, 6 out of 11, 7 out of 12. Is that right? The only teams that aren't in there, it's an all It's an all SEC, ACC, and Oregon State.
Clemson's RPI will go down since they got swept.
I'm sorry, 6 of the top 9, 7. And 8 of the top 12. Oregon State in there at 10. Oregon State hasn't Oregon State gotten beat by Oregon twice this weekend?
Okay.
It has. So that hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And then Clemson, Josh Carter brings up a good point. NC State swept Clemson. That's going to hurt them a little bit. That's going to really help NC State, though. So we'll see how they jump because of that.
Yeah, Josh, I use Warren Nolan because his stuff is updated sometimes within seconds of games finishing.
Mm-hmm. And like that website is very clean, neat, and organized. Like it's easy to check everything out.
Yep.
Just like the SECs, right, guys?
Polar opposite of the SEC.
Alfred, come on, man.
Not nice.
Be
sorry.
nice. Not nice. I think we haven't talked Georgia, Oklahoma. And by the way, I think the big thing on Alabama, we talked about Adams needing to have a better start. He got that. I get it's, who it is, but anyway.
Get right when you can. Get right when you can.
Yeah, and Georgia really needed that one today. And I said, hey, look out for Leighton Finley. I think they were TBA. But when I saw him in person last week, I thought he pitched better than the line. He's got one of the better. We got a league with a lot of guys that throw good changeups. He's one of them. So he got the best of Malachi Witherspoon today. Georgia really needed that.
Yeah, one thing that sticks out to me, at least on the box score, and even in games when I do watch Georgia, Alton Davis racks up wins for coming out of the bullpen.
Yes, that's what I was just thinking.
Yes, yeah, that's something I'm sure Wes Johnson has made note of, and that's going to help them, with how much their bullpen is a topic of conversation. So, Graham, great minds think alike, right? That's going to be someone they turn to a lot going forward, which is a good thing for Georgia. And he was great again. 1 1/3, struck out 1, didn't give up any hits, runs, just 1 walk. Big time stuff from him. Tyler McLaughlin earned the save with 1 2/3 pitch at the end of the game. Looking at the hitting, Kyle Branch had 2 homers for Georgia, or Colby Branch, excuse me, not Kyle Branch, wrong one, but he had 2 homers. Burnett homered as well for them. The homer was back for Georgia today, and after a lopsided Kyson Witherspoon snake-bitten first game, they fight back and earn the series win, which is what they've been doing at Foley Field quite often.
Also, did Ryland not play for Georgia today?
I was just looking that up. He pinch hit, and he started the first 2, so they platoon a lot. That may have just been a go with Brendan Hudson game, and I think Hudson.
He played well.
Check.
3 RBIs.
Yeah, he did. And really hadn't played much until last weekend when they had to have him. Hudson's a lefty, and Zaborowski's a righty, so
matchup.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any other than maybe Vitello, and some of theirs is defensive. There's maybe not a coach in the league that likes to match guys up more than Wes Johnson. I mean, that's what they recruited to do.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was.
Here we go. Here we've got some news here. Shoulder injury. Okay, which is not what it was.
Yeah, it was a
week
foot.
Ago.
It was a
It was
foot.
an ankle. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Noah. How are you doing, by the way, man? Good to see you.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. Actually. Oklahoma thoughts, guys?
Yeah, good to have him in here.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, the Sooners are legit. I know they didn't win the series, but they were right there pretty much all 3 games. I mean, this was the furthest separation of any game in the series today. What makes Oklahoma tough, they just kind of know who they are. They have their identity. They pitch the mess out of it.
I just put it up without even reading it.
And then you just read it.
Like Ron Burgundy.
Best super chat ever.
I'm Ron Burgundy. Carry on.
But yeah, like Oklahoma, they can pitch it. They steal bases. So they're kind of the polar opposite of Georgia, who leads the country in home runs. So I thought Oklahoma handled the environment and just that atmosphere and stadium well, because that can be a launching pad. And, for the most part, it didn't really come back to haunt them.
No, and it's hard to get a game out of Foley Field to begin with. So you kind of take that going forward and run with it. I just think the middle part of this game today kind of hurt them. Georgia, as odd as it may sound to some people, Georgia's bullpen did a really good job toward the middle. And even Leighton Finley did a great job of just, stopping their offense a good bit. So, yeah, huge stuff from the Bulldogs. And, for Oklahoma, I wouldn't, cry too much about it. I know you were a game away from taking the series and just couldn't finish. But you do take a game at Foley Field, which is so difficult. So.
Also, I want to know, Texas fans in the chats, like who do you dislike more? Is it A&M or is it Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Oh, I think Oklahoma by a mile.
Thanks, Noah.
Thank you, Noah.
Yeah, we got a lot more ground he's got a lot more ground to cover than we do.
Yes. Yes.
OU is a rival we respect. A&M.
It's got to be. I cannot believe. I would be shocked if it's anybody other than A&M.
Maybe I'm definitely not as in tune then. Huh.
Aggies live in their heads rent free. Oh man.
Is OU more football? Is that why I'm thinking that?
Okay. So I think I've shared this story before. Like 2 years ago, go to Oklahoma, like doing my first game at OU, just talking to everybody. I'm doing an Oklahoma softball game. And they told me, like, athletic department, by the way, like softball at Oklahoma is our number 2 sport. And I was thinking, what? Like, really? And what wasn't really buying it, didn't really believe it. And then, like, once the game comes and then do the game, and then, like, you see how many people show up for softball and, like, how locked in and engaged everybody is, it's like, okay, I can see this, because they've got an NCAA record 4 national championships in a row in softball. Nobody's ever done that. And then, I was in Omaha when Ole Miss beat them. Ole Miss had almost 30,000 fans there. Oklahoma had maybe 300. So, and just talking to the ones that were there, they were just like, yeah, baseball has just never really been a big deal.
Yeah. We've gotten a pretty decent Oklahoma baseball audience. They're not here tonight because of, last 2 days didn't go so well. But
right.
I think they've got a very underrated program. Skip Johnson has won a lot of games there at a program that does not have the resources commensurate with the level at which it has won.
Right.
Well, I've been to Norman, I think twice now. Facility wise, football is legit. It's awesome. So is softball. Softball's brand new. Now, basketball, if you've been at the Tad Pad at Ole Miss, like, I'm getting those vibes.
Yeah.
And they're in their basketball arena. And then baseball, they're probably down there with Mizzou for baseball facilities. And when we talked to Skip, he even flat out said it. He's like, our facilities aren't what they are around the rest of the league. So, that's one of the big reasons why is he leans on those JUCO kids. Nobody has facilities in JUCO baseball.
Oklahoma and Kentucky, the more I think about it, are just really similar in baseball. I know Oklahoma's won longer, but they both got a coach who does it without probably the resources of their peers. And they both do a really good job of finding kind of undervalued players that come in and fit what they do.
Yeah, they are kind of the same mirror image.
And yeah, Gig and Bart, yeah, OU baseball is legit. They have a history. They won the Big 12 last year. So, the product on the field is good baseball-wise.
I mean, the Witherspoons were very, very under recruited. The Witherspoons had to do a lot of self promotion just to get what they got.
Yeah, JUCO Florida kids.
Yeah.
I interviewed, he's not here this year, a guy who's going to play for them next year from JUCO. And I said, why there, out of all the places? And he's just like, well, look, he said kind of what we are saying now. He's like, look, they give a lot of players like us opportunities, and it's, playing in the SEC, which is something I'd love to do. So I took that, and I'm going to roll with it after the season.
Did we hit everybody?
I think we did. If you're Tennessee fans, if you're in here, we kind of talked about it while the game was happening. But just to recap it, it was looking like last night with what happened. Tennessee kind of held strong with Marcus Phillips, who had his best start. And then LSU with Stephen Milam and Michael Braswell hit back-to-back homers to jump right back into it. And then a disastrous inning for LSU. Cannon Peebles kind of capped it off with a home run to really extend that lead out. Tennessee has, as kind of weird as some of their series have been this year, they've impressed me on the road. They're pretty decent away from Lindsey Nelson, which is good to see.
Yeah. They've shown that they're very, very strong mentally, and they can handle essentially almost any environment.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I'm just looking at the schedule for tomorrow. Like we got a lot of really good rubber matches.
Yeah.
Not a lot of series have been decided yet. So
No.
tomorrow's shaking out to be a good one.
Let's I'm gonna do pitching matchups for tomorrow, and then I'll go medal stand if you guys are cool with that.
I think I'm cool with that.
All right. Here's what I've got. We've got, of course, Oklahoma, Georgia, Missouri, Alabama are done. South Carolina and Kentucky, that'll be TBA for Carolina. And, of course, Ben Cleaver for Kentucky. Arkansas at Florida. Beidelshees for Arkansas. TBA for Florida. Who do you think Florida goes with, Alfred?
I can't recall if they used Philpott. That's been a good Sunday option for them, though. I would imagine that.
Clemente pitched Friday, right?
Yeah, and they'd want, if they use him again, they'd want to use him out of a bullpen. So I'd go Philpott. Best guess.
What about Billy Barlow?
Midweek mostly.
Okay.
How about Philpott or Barlow?
Yeah.
Flip a coin.
Okay. Tennessee at LSU, TBD versus TBD. Except Sam said Russell, probably.
Yeah.
And
Josh
LSU.
Josh Carter said Case and Evans. I don't know.
I don't see that. Has he started yet?
Not.
I mean, they could.
I think it'll be an opener with whoever they go with, though, for LSU at least. And honestly, I don't know if they extend Russell.
Did Connor Ware go midweek?
Let me double check. Josh, if you're right, I'll bite my tongue, but I would be shocked about that based on where they've used him this year.
I will bet they'll want to throw a lefty.
Yeah.
Against all the lefties in that lineup. They used Maverick Rizzi last night, right?
They did. He's been used.
I mean, they've only got here's the lefties on their staff. All of them. Kate Anderson, obviously done after pitching a ton last night. Rizzi threw last night.
Threw again tonight.
And threw again tonight. I guess he didn't throw last night. DJ Primo, I'm not sure if he's thrown much in conference play, hasn't thrown much, period. They used Cooper Williams tonight, and they used Grant Fontenot tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Who's, as I said, I forgot was even on the roster. And that explains it now. Okay, lefty against all the lefties. So I'm going to guess. Well, they could, but then they said they're not going to start William Schmidt.
I think we should go into tomorrow and just be really surprised.
It's going to be a dose of Cowan, Schmidt, and Oh, good grief. Evans.
Evans, yes.
So, okay, Vandy Ole Miss is going to be Mason Nichols and Connor Fennell.
Fennell was awesome last week.
Yeah. There's nobody in the league like him. And Texas A&M will be Miles Patton, Jason Flores. Did I miss anybody? Oh, Mississippi State and Auburn will be Carson Ligon against, I don't think Auburn's named a starter.
Yeah, TBA.
Okay. So I think that's it, right?
Yes.
Correct.
That would be it.
All right. Medal stand. Who'd like to start? We'll do teams and then we'll do players.
I will start with some teams. I'm going to go, the gold is going to go to Texas. You get the series win. You're 18-2 in SEC play. You are clearly the number one team in the country right now. You have a pretty sizable lead on Arkansas, who is in second in the SEC. Barring something really weird happening, if they continue to play like this, I think they can take home the SEC regular season title. We'll see if that continues. I'm not going to call that too early, but that's definitely a possibility at this point. But you shut down your rival the way you want to, even in these close games, so you get the gold. Silver for me is going to be, I'll roll Tennessee with a silver. That was a pretty daunting way to lose a game with Bear Jones just pimping a ball 400 feet into center field. To come back out tonight and to have performances from a lot of players like you did, and it was kind of like a mirror image of the game last night, and then you break away late. You did really good in responding that way. Has been really gritty and really good mentally on the road. So Tennessee with the silver. The bronze, I'm going to give Arkansas the bronze. Similar kind of reason for Tennessee. You look way better offensively. Gage Wood and Gabe Gackle were great, and you even up that series with Florida, which is kind of a big road trip for them, in a pretty hard place to play, in and of itself when that crowd there is good. So that order: Texas, Tennessee, Arkansas, gold, silver, bronze.
Mine's going to be a little different. My gold is going to be Tennessee. So, and why? Think about how they lost that game last night. You're sitting around for 3 hours. They're just kind of hanging out in the dugout. You got nowhere else to go. You play the game. You're up, 3-0 in the ninth inning, and then LSU ties it in dramatic fashion, and then Bear Jones with a walk-off home run. So you lose in dramatic fashion at 1:30 in the morning. Tight turnaround, don't get a lot of sleep. You show up at the ballpark just hours later, and then you take care of business. This game wasn't really all that close tonight. LSU, 3 solo home runs. That's all they did. Phillips was good enough tonight. So for them to bounce back and respond the way they did, that's why they get my gold. My silver, Ole Miss. Not only did they win today, but they win the series, a series in which they needed to feel really good about hosting. And they did just that. Career outing for Riley Maddox, 7 innings, had 5 strikeouts, didn't walk anybody. Ole Miss did what they always do, which is hit a bunch of home runs against that very good Vanderbilt pitching staff. And then my bronze, I'm going to go Mississippi State. This is a team kind of backs against the wall. They were tied late game 1 last night, gave that lead up, and then to bounce back the way they did tonight, scoring 4 runs in the first, and then eventually going up 10-1 at one point. This was big for Mississippi State, just to put themselves in a position to potentially win a critical series on the road. So they need it if they want to make the NCAA tournament. They are the last team out, according to D1 baseball. So tomorrow is going to be big for Mississippi State.
I'm going to go Tennessee for, I could just copy and paste what you said there because all your reasons were all mine. I'm going to go Texas 2, winning a rivalry series against a red-hot opponent. And I'm going to go to Ole Miss 3 because of the way Ole Miss did it. All right, players. Graham, you can go first this time.
Okay, let me see what I'm going to do. I am going to go My gold, I'm going to go Riley Maddox. He's been good 3 weeks in a row. Ole Miss really needed this from him today. I gave his numbers a moment ago. Career high 7 innings, 5 strikeouts, didn't walk anybody. He's kind of turned the corner for Ole Miss. So he gets my gold. Rebels won that series. I know Alabama's playing Missouri. It still counts, guys. I'm going to go with the captain for the Crimson Tide, Cade Snell. 3 for 4 today, had a double, couple of RBIs. It's good to see him get back on track for Alabama. And then my bronze, I'm going to give it to 2 arms for the Arkansas Razorbacks. I'm going to go with Wood and Gackle. Gackle, a little bit better stat line. He actually picked up the win today, win number 4 for him. Gackle, 4 strikeouts and 3 1/3. So we're going to tag team the bronze for the Razorback arms.
Mine, we're going to be all over the place a little bit, me and you, Graham. I got some different guys for this one. My gold is going to be, I'm going to run with Colby Branch here. A little bit of a weird one, but I feel like 3 for 3 at the plate, 2 home runs, and leading the charge and what Georgia is all about offensively to win the series against Oklahoma is massive. This was a great way for Georgia to kind of, get their foot still going in the right direction, and he just kind of put in place why they're so good at Foley Field. He's going to get the gold for me. My silver is going to be Ethan Mendoza from Texas, much to the delight of our Texas crowd. Phenomenal game today, 3 for 4 with a home run. In these tight scenarios, his hit was big, as well as, some other players from tonight's game and last night's game who had big hits. But for tonight, he was the one who kind of was the hero a little bit. So he's going to get on the podium with a silver. And my bronze, I'm going to go ahead and give it to Marcus Phillips, just because he had his best start of the year, in my opinion. I thought he was very solid. I know he had the 2 home runs in the end to kind of get LSU back into it. But, man, in control for the grand majority of his start. 6 2/3 and was just absolutely rock solid. Pitch count was great. So that's going to be mine. Riley Maddox right here behind the podium. I'll shout him out, too, as well for a very good start. But those are my guys. Colby Branch, Ethan Mendoza, Marcus Phillips.
Well, you guys know me. It's almost always going to be starting pitchers unless somebody has a 2 or 3 home run game. So I went Marcus Phillips gold, considering the situation, the venue, and the offense. I went Luke Harrison silver. Same thing. I mean, he was at home, but you cool off a red-hot A&M team. You really needed a starting pitcher to go deep in the game. With the injury situation there, they did that. And then I'm going to go Mason Nichols for Ole Miss because, man, if Mason Nichols pitches like that.
You mean Maddox?
No, excuse me. Riley Maddox. Mason Nichols is tomorrow. Sorry. I get that guy. He was great tonight. Even I did completely goof his name up and inadvertently named tomorrow's starting pitcher instead. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Like, if he pitches like that, you could see Ole Miss in Omaha. All right, Matt, we'll do you a favor on the way out. What did Matt want? Honest expectations on Kentucky. I think Kentucky's a solid 2.
I would say the absolute best case scenario super regionals.
I think you'd be really happy with that.
Yeah.
Really, really
happy. Kentucky's not going to host, but I mean, keep an eye on Louisville. That'd be a fun one if they got sent to Patterson.
Mm-hmm. That was a really good. We mentioned it. We flashed it, but that was a really good win in the midweek over Louisville.
Yeah, crushing that. Yeah, a very good Louisville team. So that's one that you're picking up wins at the right time.
I just think if they were in the Big 12, the ACC, they would be a national seed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Can Valanthus win some hardware? Boy, it's a tough year. It's a tough year for freshmen. By the way, I meant to bring this up. Derek Curiel has reached base every game he's been at LSU. That's crazy. Heard that right tonight. That's part of your competition.
He was the guy that I think he tied it last night. Game 1 against Tennessee. He had the big hit to tie it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's those 2 for freshman of the year. I mean, I really think.
Yeah.
I mean,
really
Tyler Bell would be your freshman of the year a lot of years. I'm not sure. I mean, he may be top 5, but okay. Josh's streak got broken tonight, so there you go. Still, that's
Still
a crazy
still
good
really
start.
good. Yeah.
That's got to be a record. Yeah, I mean it's a you got Curiel, you got Volantis, you've got first baseman of Florida,
Lawson. Brendan Lawson.
Brendan Lawson, yeah, and I know there's a couple other guys. So it's a tough year for hardware. Now, I'll tell you what is
Rimbert
go
at
ahead.
Auburn. That's another
Yeah.
one.
Yes.
Yeah,
That dude, like, sign me up for him. Like, got to see him in person yesterday. He had 4 hits.
Right.
I mean Chase Fralick, you know, he's played a premium position a good bit of the year, hit pretty well. There's a lot of good ones. Yeah, I think that's it. I need to get some sleep.
You and me both.
Yeah.
If you're in Eastern time, the correct time. Thank you guys for watching. It's 12:30 here.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting you're
gosh.
in Eastern time, Alfred. I keep forgetting.
The good news, guys, is that I'm 23, so I can do it.
Well,
Yes,
don't-
Josh. You always come in stealth mode. I love Josh. Love you all. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for being a part of our show. Remember, you can find us on your podcast feeds too. Please do that. Even if you don't listen to podcasts much and just catch us here at YouTube, go and give us a rating on your favorite podcast platform, a 5-star, hopefully. Leave us a nice comment. Help us get noticed there. That just helps our business a little bit more. Anyway, for Graham Doty, Alfred Esmond, I'm Chris Lee of Southeastern 16. God bless you. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you again tomorrow night. Not sure of the time yet, but we'll be here to wrap up SEC baseball action tomorrow, and then Power Rankings Monday. Again, thanks for watching. See you again soon at Southeastern 16.